JF Stretford, Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm not in the studio. I'm not at Old Trafford. I'm in my kitchen. We're doing the Paper Talk in my kitchen this morning. I'm going to be in later on. Me and Joe are going to be on Paddock Live later on, so make sure you check that out. So I've got a full day of it today. So yeah, I'm starting off at home, and then I'll be in later on tonight. About 10 o'clock, we'll be doing a Paddock Live, so make sure you join us for that one. A few stories to get through today. A couple of transfer rumours. One relatively likely, one completely, in my opinion, unlikely. But this is the Paper Talk, so we tell you what's in the papers, and I'm going to do that. First of all, though, I want to get to this Wout Weghorst story. Now, it seems like every day since the Liverpool defeat, there's been someone accused of something, demonised, attacked, whatever you want to call it, from the Manchester United squad. A couple of days ago, yesterday, it was Bruno Fernandes. He was getting grief one day about, how he wanted to come off and be subbed, even though he didn't. The whole nonsense about the linesman, even though the linesman grabbed him first. I mean, it was doing my head in some of the drivel that I was seeing spouted about Bruno Fernandes. And I mentioned him in my my news yesterday, where I defended him and said, listen, where would it be without Bruno Fernandes? If it wasn't yesterday, sorry, it was Monday. Let's get a grip here and let's be honest about Bruno Fernandes. He's probably been our best signing post Alex Ferguson. Now it's Wout Weghorst. Now, I've spoke about Wout Weghorst in the past, and I spoke about him recently where I said it's not his fault, but the fact that we're going to Anfield with a striker who scored 2 goals for Burnley last season, who is on loan from Burnley and was on loan at Besiktas from Burnley because Burnley obviously felt they didn't need him, it's quite telling. Now, I like him. He puts a shift in. He grafts. He brings players in around him. He's got a decent touch, but he doesn't get you goals. And I just felt that it was sort of indicative of where we're at in a minute and the fact we need another striker that would go to Anfield. And if Marcus Rashford doesn't score, you don't know where the goals are coming from, especially when you look at Liverpool. They've got Nunes, Gakpo, Mo Salah, of course, and then they can bring on someone like Jota and even Firmino, who are capable of getting goals. So Weghorst levels, for me, he's a stopgap, and he's done a decent job since he's come in. He's helped us win a trophy, but he should be just that as a stopgap. And I think that a lot of the time, the Glazers get away with this because fans get behind players. We always get behind these signings. When Igalo came, remember we signed him at about 10 o'clock on a transfer deadline day. Now, this was a kid who not played in the Premier League for a few years, and the last time he had, in his final season in the Premier League, had gone 18 games without a goal when he was at Watford. And we went for him because we couldn't get Josh King, who, to be honest with you, Josh King wasn't much of a better option, in my opinion. But what fans do, and I did it, is you get behind him. When someone signs for Manchester United, you get behind him. And that's what we've done with Weghorst. But you look at the levels and you think, are the levels there? Probably not. We should have had a striker coming in January who could have got us goals, but we didn't. And the argument would be, well, we spent money in the summer. It doesn't matter. You're coming into January, fighting on 4 fronts. You look at it and you go, right, we need reinforcements. We've also lost Anthony Martial, basically. He's been injured all season. And we've lost Cristiano Ronaldo. And obviously, for other reasons, Mason Greenwood's not playing. So you go, right, we need a striker. We need to sanction some funds. But they didn't. And it annoys me because it's not Weghorst's fault. But then you with a player who, yes, has got good attributes, but doesn't score you goals. Now, the controversy about him hasn't been his lack of goals. It's this fact of him, or this footage of him touching the "This is Anfield" sign. Now, there was a video of, as the players went out, him touching the sign as he went out onto the pitch before the game. Now, this has been done before. Players have done it. I remember Roy Keane and Ian Wright arguing on Sky Sports about, or ITV about it, because Ian Wright said he did it once when he played for Arsenal at Anfield because it's such an iconic sign. That's his words, not mine. So he touched it. And Roy Keane said it was absolutely childish, touching that sign. Anyway, because there was such a backlash following the result, some people have sent for Wout Weghorst. And this is what he's done. He's posted, I think it was on Instagram, but it's been shared on other social medias. He says, Sunday was a terrible day for us all. We are putting everything into making it right in the next weeks. We'll bounce back. Sorry, I think I've missed a bit here. That's the last bit of it. I'll start from the beginning. It says, from the national team, I know that Virgil always touches that sign, and I went to stop him touching it to try and wind him up before the game. As a child, I always supported FC20, and as a proud player, now for Manchester United, my dedication to this incredible club can never be questioned. Then he says, Sunday was a terrible day for us. We will bounce back together and achieve our aims this season. Listen, anyone who watches this channel knows my thoughts about Liverpool Football Club. I'm not exactly fans of them. I can't stand them. It's, for me, the game against Scouts is the biggest game of the season. I'm still gutted and fuming about what happened on Sunday, but we move and we get on with it. I'm not overly bothered about this. I'll be honest with you. If that's what he's saying, whether it's true or not, I mean, it does sound like he might be lying, but we'll take him on face value because I'm not going to start digging into him. He's already had enough grief. Just, there's bigger fish to fry, to be honest with you. And I can understand why fans would be upset seeing what you're doing. You're playing for Manchester United. You're going out to play Liverpool. You're touching their sign. Get a grip. But yeah, it just seems like another storm in a teacup. And we've had too many of them post-Anfield. You know, the Bruno Fernandes one, the Vote Vegas one. Who's going to be next? What's next on the agenda? Just let's move on, right? Let's learn from what happened. Let Erik ten Hag rally the troops, which I'm sure he's capable of. And then let's get on with it. Talking of strikers, Gonzalo Ramos has been linked with Manchester United. There's an article in the Express today. Man United reminded of brilliant striker they can sign for 70 million quid cheaper than Osimhen or Kane. Now, we've been linked with Victor Osimhen. He did a little hint that he wants to play in the Premier League. Well, it's more than a hint. He said he did. We've also been linked with Harry Kane. According to some reports, Kane's talks have started already between the club and his representatives. Now we've got this situation where you've also got Gonzalo Ramos, who's been linked with us. Now, he banged in a brace, I think it was yesterday, when they played Bruges, and that makes he's got now, I think, 23 goals and 9 assists in 34 games. He's been absolutely flying lately. He obviously had a very good World Cup. Yeah, so he's Benfica beat Bruges, I think it was 5-1. He's scored a couple, scoring loads of goals, doing well, and he's a lot cheaper than the likes of Victor Osimhen and Harry Kane. Get involved in the comments. Do you want Gonzalo Ramos? Do you think he's the answer to our striker problems? It could make sense. It could make sense because you're not going to spend the 100 million, the 120, 130 million you've been touted for Victor Osimhen or Harry Kane. Although I don't think he'll be pennies. But there's talk of him being a lot cheaper than those two players I've just mentioned. So that could make a lot of sense, that. I like Gonzalo Ramos. I like what I saw of him at the World Cup. I think you can't buy a player just based off the World Cup. But if you look what he's been doing for his club as well, he's obviously been doing really well. So, yeah, could be an option. Is he the right option? Let us know what you think. Now, there's another story doing the rounds here. And this is one where I have to just file this under completely unrealistic and basically not happening. Which isn't the best way to sort of start a story, but I've got to be honest with you, and I just don't see it happening. Now, this is about Eduardo Camavinga. Now, I've seen this in the evening news, and I think it's come from the Fahajis.net from Spain, who was saying United are ready to spend 130 million on Eduardo Camavinga to get him from Real Madrid. Now, this isn't just surprising. It's absolutely shocking if this was to happen because Camavinga, he only signed for Madrid, 2 seasons ago? Not even that. When was it? 2021, yeah. So it was like halfway through last season, wasn't it? Or the beginning of last season. He's 20. He's been flying for them. I've seen him a few times. He's been absolutely mint. And he's got a contract till 2027. Now, maybe there is some scenario where before the end of that contract, Real Madrid decide they want to cash in on him and get someone else in. They do like to make a lot of transfers. It's not beyond the realms of possibility. But I doubt it. I'd be very, very surprised if Real Madrid were willing to let him go. Now, I know in Spain there's these things with transfers and money, and you've got to have the books balanced. And we've seen with Barcelona the trouble that they're in at the minute and the fact that they might have to sell players. But I don't see Real Madrid letting go of someone who has played 39 games for him already this season. And he's played well. So I don't see this one happening. Forgive me, but I'm going to file this under completely unlikely. That's what I think. I don't just think it's doubtful. I just think it's not even unlikely. I give this about let's put it this way. If I was a betting man, I'd give you odds of 100 to 1 on this happening. But we'll keep you posted and keep monitoring it. If anything does develop, stranger things have happened. Some people may go, well, we got Casemiro. We've got Casemiro who's 30. And they'd already bought in other players, such as Camavinga, to replace him. So I don't see it happening. Listen, we'll wrap it up there. We're going to be back later on tonight with me and Joe. Thanks for all the comments I've had as well. Bit poorly. I've had a bit of man flu, but I'm getting through it. So thanks for your support. Make sure you are checking out all the other videos on the channel. We're looking ahead to the Real Betis game tomorrow. Big game. We need to bounce back from that game at Anfield, and hopefully we can do it in the Europa League. We'll also have all the latest updates as well. Any breaking news, we'll have you covered. So make sure you are hitting like, share, and subscribe. I've been Jay Moy. This has been the Paper Talk. Thanks for watching.